Hello everyone in the world of Football Manager. Now, FM17 is just around the corner. It's been released on the 4th of November. The beta, if you've pre-ordered, will be released 2 weeks before that. So very soon I'm going to be switching over to FM17 content on this channel, which I'm very excited about, despite the fact we haven't really heard anything about FM17 at the time of recording this video. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to talk to you about what I regard as my best save on FM16. Now, it's a save that I decided not to broadcast. I did put some screenshots on Twitter every now and then, but I decided not to do a YouTube series on it for the simple fact that I've been doing YouTube for 4 years, and quite often the number of saves I've done behind the scenes without broadcasting on YouTube, I probably can count on one hand. And I'd missed the days when I could just blast through a save really quickly, because when you're making YouTube content, you play a bit of the game, you make a video, you edit the video, you upload the video, then you play the game again, and it just slows the whole process down of playing the game, and I missed that. I wanted to do a save just for me. I know I'm telling you about it now. I did do an FM11 video where I just talked about my favourite or my best ever Football Manager save with Chelmsford City, and that went down really well. It seemed really popular, where I just talked about a save like I did an overview of my save. That was popular, so I thought I'd do one for this FM16 save that I did as well with my beloved West Ham United. I chose them because I wanted a fun save. Now, some of you know that I've talked about FM16 quite harshly lately on Twitter and YouTube. I didn't fall in love with this game for the main reason the match engine was flawed, in my opinion. Things like cross goals, where a player would cross the ball in, it loops over the goalkeeper's head, goes into the far corner. Now, that's happened on the last few FMs, to be honest, but it was worse on this game, and if they haven't sorted it by this point, there's something wrong. Secondly, right backs are overpowered. They would get so many assists because the right back would go down the wing, cross it into the far post, goal nearly every time. It just took the enjoyment out of the game, if I'm brutally honest. So I couldn't fall in love with the game, which is why the GJ challenge didn't last very long. It's why I didn't do a long-term save this year on FM16. I hope that changes for FM17. I've got big plans for a long-term save, or 2 or 3. So I'm hoping the game is better, because I think FM16 was the most feature-rich game of all. In that regard, you could say it's the best game, but for me it wasn't, because of the match engine, and the match engine is the main crux for the game. If it doesn't work, if there's problems with it, I'm not talking about the graphics here at all, guys. I'm talking about the mechanics behind the game that controls the actual gameplay, and there was just too many flaws for me to enjoy the game. However, I did enjoy this game, probably because it was West Ham, and if you fall in love with a save, you sort of ignore the flaws in the match engine or the flaws in the actual game. Here we go. I'm going to discuss my save with West Ham United. Now, I got up to 27th of February 2021 and then got bored, to be honest, and I couldn't continue. I was determined to try and finish this season, but I didn't. As you can see at the moment, I'm running away with the league, 12 points clear. I haven't lost a single game in the league all season. Lacazette and Belotti, top goal scorers. Now, they are insane. I'm going to talk about them quite a lot in a minute, especially Belotti, because I love him. Probably my favourite ever striker on FM, out of any FMs. I've never really been one to get strikers to score loads of goals, apart from on a few occasions. I can probably count that on one hand as well, to be honest. Strikers that can get 30 goals a season, I do struggle. Now, I did actually win the league for the first time last season as well. So how many seasons? I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, plus this 6th season parts of the way through. I was aiming on doing an FM17 save with West Ham, but to be honest, the form, because of real life form with West Ham and the London Stadium and everything going on, it's demotivated me to do one. I might do one later in the year. As you can see, in my first season, I finished 11th in the league, which isn't great. In real life, they finished 7th, remember, in this season. Won 13 games, drew 11 and lost 14, minus 1 goal difference. West Ham renowned for never getting a plus goal difference. In fact, last year in real life was the first time we'd ever got a plus goal difference in the Premier League, which is just ridiculous. Tottenham won the league by 2 points. Leicester finished 4th, the real-life champions. Liverpool, I mean, look at that. Chelsea, Man United and Man City all out of the top 4. Crazy stuff. Palace, Villa and Watford relegated. I might have a save file from the first season. I'll have a look. Okay, I have one from part the way through the second season. So it's the 10th of September 2016. So we can't really look at last season that well, but we can look at the sort of team I had at the start of the second season. So it's quite different to the team that you would have seen at the start of this video. We've got people like Yannick Bolasie, Payet. I think Payet's still in the team, actually, to be honest. Adrian Ramos, don't think I've got him anymore. Dwight Gale. The team is very different, as you can see. If we look at my fixtures from last season, you can see lots of losses in there. We didn't do that well in the Euro Cup, I don't think. Wait, we got to the first knockout stage. Oh no, we did do quite well. I got to the quarter-final and then lost against Man United. So I did a lot better than real life. But yeah, we lost against Man United. And the end of season form was just so poor. Now, looking at tactics, I didn't use any of these. The first season was actually a bit of an experiment for me. I wasn't intending to do a long-term save. I wanted to do a strikerless save. I wanted to try and use a strikerless tactic and do as well with West Ham as possible. It started off well, but unfortunately we ended up losing lots of games, and we finished 11th, remember. Now, but it was basically because I wasn't particularly happy with any of the strikers I had at the club. West Ham are known, I mean, this season in real life, we've not had a striker score a single goal this season, I don't think, which is just stupid. So I tried out various strikerless tactics, as you can see here. I tried a 4-2-4, tried this thing. What else did I try? Strikerless defensive, various things with different team instructions. I tried to make it to work. It was successful in the fact we didn't get relegated when we finished mid-table. But it wasn't good enough. Look, I tried so many. I tried a wide target man with Andy Carroll on the left-hand side. It kind of worked. He did score a few goals, but it didn't work enough. So I then reverted to more traditional tactics in the second season, and we had more success. We'll have a look in a minute at how well I did. But transfer-wise, in that first season, then let's go back in time. The only thing I did was sign Lanzini on a permanent deal in January for 5 million, because that was some sort of clause, and I loaned out a few players, and I sold Sacco to Lazio in January for £10 million. That's all I did. Then in the second season, so this is the second season, I spent 40.25 million, but I did sell 43.26 million pounds worth of players. I sold Andy Carroll to Cardiff for 15 million pounds, the mugs. I mean, Andy Carroll's he's amazing at what he does. He's the best header of the ball, arguably, in the world. Attacking wise. However, on the game, I've never been able to get the best out of him. I don't really play just a target man up front with a poacher. I used to, but not nowadays. So I thought I sold him for the same amount West Ham paid for him. So that's a deal and a half. I sold Enner Valencia for 13.75 million, which is decent considering how poor he's been in real life. Running away from police, faking an injury, being useless for West Ham and Everton now. So I was pretty pleased with that. I sold Creswell for 13.5 million. Now, I love Creswell, but he wanted to go to Liverpool. I think that's where he was born, so it's his boyhood club. So I sold him for 13.5 million. I also sold Adrian for 1 million. Now, coming into the team, I signed Balassi for 24 million, which seems a lot, but he had a very good career with me. He was an exceptional player on this save at the time. Had a good season with Palace, as you can see, getting plenty of assists, a few goals as well, and he turned out really good for me, especially this season. Also signed Jesse Lingard for 5 million, which I think was a bargain. He's a decent, versatile player that can play anywhere. Kieran Trippier for 4 million, really good right back. David Ospina from Arsenal for 3.7 million. He became my main goalkeeper this year. Adrian Ramos is an interesting player because he's got 10 on finishing, which is really low for a striker. However, he scores goals for whatever reason. Got him for 2.1 million from Dortmund, which, I mean, I decided 2.1 million, it's nothing. I'll take a gamble on him. Same with Dwight Gale, 550k for him. I might as well take a gamble. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. So the next save file I have is 1st of June 2017, so I'm guessing it's the end of the second season. Indeed it is. We finished 4th, so we managed to get a Champions League place, as you can see there. 68 points, 1 ahead of Man City, 2 ahead. I mean, it was a close season, as you can see there, between 2nd down to 7th place, really, 6 points in it. Man United ran away with the league though. Stoke, West Brom and Brighton relegated. We had a really, really good season. Lukaku top scorer, but Payet for us was insane. 16 assists in the league. 3rd most man of the matches as well. This is the team at the end of that second season. You can see goals wise, top scorer was Adrian Ramos. Like I said, he scores goals. I mean, he's not prolific, but he scores goals. He scored more than... Now, I signed Andrea Bellotti. I love this guy. I so love it. Don't be creeped out by this, but he's the best striker. Oh, he's just unbelievable. And he scored 14 goals in 14 games and 3 sub-appearances for me when I signed him in January for 16.5 million. Absolute bargain, by the way. Legend this guy is. I can't give him enough praise. Here you think, oh look, he's decent. 15 finishing, 14 composure, 15 off the ball, decent acceleration and pace. Generally an all-round good striker. He's a complete forward, and that's what I played him as. And you'll see over time how he just becomes insane. So to get that many goals in that second half of the season, now Adrian Ramos basically got all those goals in the first half. Belotti came in and scored all those goals in the second half. Payet scored quite a few goals, and he got lots of assists as well, as you can see. Balassi had a good season, 9 goals, 12 assists, 7.57 average rating over the entire season, equaling Lanzini and Payet's record. All three of them were superb in their respective positions. Balassi was my most valued player as well, probably because I bought him for so much money, but cracking season. Now you'll notice some maybe unusual names in here. I also sent Ben Davies in January, but Vachon Neufville, who had really good potential in the youth team. I promoted him in that first season, and he played quite a few games for me this season, and I continued to develop him over the years. At this point, June 2017, he's only 17. I mean, he's 1.5 star current ability at the moment, but he's putting in decent performances for me as my backup left back to Ben Davies, who I signed in January from Spurs for 3.7 million. That he was transfer listed by them. I thought, why not? He's a cracking left back. I need to sign this guy. Really good player. Now, also, I hasten to add before we continue, I really want to develop Reece Burke and Reece Oxford at this point. These two are just very good prospects, just like they are in real life. Arguably, Reece Burke is the better prospect of the two as a centre-back. But Reece Oxford is a couple of years younger. He's more of a ball-playing defender. Burke is a good all-rounded central defender. Both good players, and I decided to play them a lot. Reece Burke became my main centre-back alongside Ogbonna. He actually made the most appearances out of any of my centre-backs this season and did pretty well. Best average rating out of my centre-backs. I've decided to sell... I think I've got rid of Collins, but I've still got Tompkins. Actually, Tompkins has the best average rating, but he didn't play as many games. So yeah, I was trying to develop lots of youth players this year. I was focusing on youth. I wanted this to be a save where I really did focus on youth, and it worked out quite well. We also managed to win the FA Cup. We lost the Capital One Cup final to Man United 2-1, which was heartbreaking at the time. It was my chance to win my first title. Jesse Lingard scored against his old club, but Kevin Campy in the 86th minute ruined me. Winston Reid got sent off, which didn't help. However, we did get revenge in the FA Cup final, beating them 3-1 in the final. Really good victory. Let's look at this. You can see Obiang with the first goal, a rare goal. Belotti, the legend. They equalised, and then Belotti put us back in the lead. Balassi was just causing all sorts of problems down that right-hand side, and Belotti found the back of the net. And then check Chiarte in the 74th minute. Lanzini corner, Chiarte bombs it home. So very pleasing season. 4th in the league, FA Cup winners. And we got to the final of the Capital One Cup as well. The next save file I have is the 29th of July 2018. So we've skipped ahead over a year. The team is looking very different. We've got different players in there. I've decided, at this point, I've started to sign some really good regens that are coming through. I've also signed players like Odegaard. So we'll have a look in a second at the transfers. I didn't finish 20th in the league. You may have noticed that. It's already the start of the next season. So last season, we managed to finish 3rd. So once again, an improvement. Although we didn't improve our points tally, we actually got worse. But Chelsea and Man United ran away with it at the top. Chelsea eventually winning the league. We finished 3rd, ahead of Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool, Leicester and Man City, who are having a rough time on the save. Sunderland, Palace and Hull relegated. Really good season for us. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and that's why I continued to play this save. If we look at the transfers, so we go to the first season, spent a modest amount of money, sold more players than I spent. The second season, now I did actually, like I said, I spent some more money on players in that January. I signed Belotti, I signed Ben Davies, but 60.45 million in the end I spent, and sold 43.26 million pounds worth of players. In that in the third season, because we went to the Champions League, we had a lot more money, and as you can see, 79.7 million pounds I spent, and I sold 30.85 million pounds worth of players. I sold Obiang to Liverpool for 7.5 million. They decided to come in for him. I sold Winston Reid to Southampton for 6.75 million. Like I said, I wanted to promote the youth, and that's what I did, so I sold Reid. Sold Antonio to Galatasaray. I love Antonio in real life. He's my favourite West Ham player at the moment. But on the game, especially on FM16, bit underrated. Hopefully he'll have a boost on FM17. So he didn't really... It wasn't up to the standard I required at the time when I was challenging for Champions League places. So I sold him to Galatasaray. Sold Lingard to Swansea. It didn't work out for him. Sold Diego Poyet for 3 million to Cardiff. Sold Tompkins just last year as well to Derby for 2.5 million. And Kouyaté, Dwight Gale, Randolph, Hendry and Ben Watson all went out as well. But coming into the team, the big man, Alexander Lacazette, for £37 million. Spent a lot of money on him. I think there was a bit of money added on as well. There's a bin lorry going past. Yes, this is the guy West Ham couldn't get in real life, but I managed to get Champions League football, remember? So I managed to get hold of him. 37 million. I think it rose to 45 million in the end. In that first half of the season, he scored 20 goals in 15 starts and 6 sub-appearances. That is insane. What a player he is. I love this guy so much as well. Him and Belotti up front, absolutely lethal. I also signed Lewis Baker from Chelsea for 11 million. Now, he was my long-term Mark Noble replacement. Cracking player. Brilliant player. Already capped by England at this point as well. 11 caps. Just a cracking midfielder. Great passing, good penalty taker, good corner. I mean, his set pieces are exceptional. Mark Albrighton came in £10 million. Quite a lot of money, but the formation I was playing at the time suited him. Wanted a left midfielder, and he's versatile. Can play anywhere down the left or right. Good crosser of the ball. It didn't really work out for him in the end. I mean, the first half of the season that we came in for, he was alright, but nothing special. Gökhan Tor, just like in real life, I signed him, but he came from Bayern Munich, because he signed for Bayern Munich, then he signed for me for 8.5 million. Bayern made a slight loss on him. In real life, he's been awful for West Ham. West Ham fans just don't like him at the moment. But in that first half of the season, or first season, or whenever I signed him, he scored 4 goals, 11 assists as well. He's one of those players that's just a bit unpredictable, which can be a good thing, flair-wise, but at the same time, he's just not consistent enough, I suppose, to play at the very top level. But he did a decent job for me. Also signed this guy, Gulavukul, for defensive midfield, French defensive midfielder. Jamie Baines. This is when I started to sign regens that I thought had potential to be good. Some of them didn't work out, some of them did. Tyrone O'Sullivan, a really top-notch young striker, apparently tipped for the top. Look at the potential there. But I don't want to spoil it, but I don't think he became a real star for me in the end. Nick Bailey as well. This guy, really good potential. If I was to continue playing this save, there's certain players that would be insane that I'd sign, but I got bored by February 2021. I wish I had the motivation to play it a bit further, but I don't. Maybe I'll go back to it one day. Lots of players coming in. Probably wondering how I managed to get on in the Champions League. We qualified from our playoff, beating Porto, quite a hard playoff team to face. Then in the Champions League, we got through our group. Now, it was magical. It was truly magical the way we got through. I think we were like 3rd in the group or something, with Real Madrid. Let's just go and look. Some of you may remember me posting this sort of thing on Twitter. But we were in 3rd place. We were floating between 1st and 3rd place in the last game against Real Madrid. We were drawing 0-0, which at the time would have been enough to put Real Madrid and Schalke through. We'd have gone out, but we beat them 2-0, and it knocked Real Madrid out of the Champions League, it was brilliant. We scored. Payet scored at the end of injury time of the first half. Let's see this. I've got it on 2D here. I did play this save in 2D. Payet, great finish. And then Belotti, the hero, the legend, confirmed. Well, it was almost confirming victory at this point. 53rd minute, lovely finish. Payet with the assist, and we knocked Real Madrid out the Champions League and qualified for the next round. As you can see, we lost in the FA Cup, so our title defence didn't go very well for that one. But we absolutely mullered Panathinaikos in the first knockout round of the Champions League. We beat them 6-1 in the first leg. Lanzini with a hat-trick, Lacazette with 2 as well. And then the second leg, we beat them 2-1 at home. Played a slightly weaker team. You can see here, we won the Champions League. We beat Spurs in the quarter-final. 6-2 in that first leg at home. I couldn't believe this. Look at this. Look at this. 2nd minute, Lacazette scores. 5th minute, Payet scores. 6th minute, Lacazette scores. 8th minute, Reece Burke scores. I couldn't believe what was going on. They did get 2 goals back, and then we scored 2 more through Lacazette and Lanzini. But that was the most frantic start to the game I've ever seen. I've never scored 4 goals inside the first 10 minutes of a match, or first 8 minutes of a match. It was ridiculous. I don't know what was going on. But yeah, we absolutely destroyed Spurs. which is great for West Ham. We did lose the away leg 3-1, but it didn't matter. It was enough to put us through. Chelsea, we then beat in the semi-final 4-1. Lacazette with 2, Oxford, Balassi, and 2-1 in the second leg. Lacazette with 2 goals. We were just destroying teams in the Champions League. It was ridiculous. Before beating Atletico Madrid 1-0. Lacazette with a winning goal in the 5th minute. Crazy stuff. Good finish from Lacazette to win us my first ever Champions League title. Well, West Ham's first ever Champions League title. In our first attempt. We only qualified last year in 4th place in the league, and we go on and win it in our first season. It was crazy. So that was the end of the 3rd season. Magnificent stuff. We finished 3rd in the league as well. The tactics I were playing, what was I playing? So these were the 3 that I had. Why is there only 1 up front? I could have sworn I had like 2 up front. I think last season I had 2 up front. Then did I revert to 3 to 1 up front or something? There's a tactic that I used a lot throughout this save with 2 up front, Lacazette and Belotti up front, both as complete forwards. I don't know why it's not here. Okay, so the next save file I have is 11th of July 2019, just the start of the next season. If we look at the league, I once again improved on my positions. So 4th, 3rd and then 2nd this season, 76 points. Man United won the league again, they're just so ridiculous on this save. Spurs and Man City 3rd and 4th, Southampton, Forest and Norwich relegated. Once again, another magnificent season from us. Once again, a pretty different looking team, different players in there, some that you will recognise, some regens as well. This was our fixture list. You can see we lost the Euro Super Cup against Sevilla on penalties. Pretty unlucky there. And in the Champions League, we got off to a bit of a rough start. Lost 4-0 to Valencia. It was a tough start to the season, actually, looking at it. But we did qualify from our group. It was a much easier group than last year, but we did struggle to get through. We won the World Championship, the Club World Championship 2-0 in the final against Corinthians. Lacazette with both goals. We got through our FA Cup 3rd and 4th round stage pretty easily, and got through our 5th round replay against Liverpool. You can see we managed to beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League first knockout round, just about 3-1 in the first leg. Belotti, Odegaard and Lanzini were the goals, and then we lost against Bayern Munich 4-3 in the second leg. Lewandowski was a menace, 4 goals, but we scraped through. You can see we were going out until Trippier and Belotti helped us out and got us through that game. Odegaard I'll talk about in a minute. I'll talk about some of the stars of this series in a minute. We then beat Arsenal in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. We got through against PSG in the quarter-final of the Champions League. Belotti and Lanzini with the goals in the first leg. Then a 0-0 in the away leg. Beat Man City on penalties in the FA Cup semi-final before taking on Chelsea once again in the Champions League semi-final. Lacazette with the only goal over the 2 legs. We then beat Nottingham Forest, really struggled to get past them, playing a slightly weaker team, I think, and beat them 1-0. Belotti with a goal in injury time of extra time. And then Champions League final. Once again, we were just a pain in Real Madrid's backside. We beat them 3-2 in the final. Belotti with a Champions League final hat-trick. This is why I love this guy. Ospina scored an own goal, and then they scored a 27th minute second goal. I thought, they're getting revenge. But Belotti turned it on. We turned it around. Unbelievable stuff. Dan Dickinson, my American young striker, setting up the first goal. I think Lacazette was either injured or suspended for the final. And I had to put Dan Dickinson, who's got real potential, into the team. Second goal, Baker through to Lanzini. Odegaard had the shot, Belotti tap in. And then to get his hat-trick and win the final in extra time in the 117th minute. The pressure really on. He struck the ball home and we won the Champions League final. Look at the statistics. They had 29 shots. We had plenty of shots as well, but they had 29 shots. Lots off target though, that was their problem. So another really good season. We won the Champions League for a 2nd year in a row, and we also won the FA Cup. Where's the Capital One Cup? We must have failed in that. And we won the Club World Championship. As you can see, the team is very different. Transfer-wise, let's have a look. So last season, we spent 70.9 million and we sold £19.65 million worth of players. I did end up selling Yannick Bolasie for a big loss. He had a couple really good seasons with me, but then I decided I didn't need him. I had so many players. He had a good start to the season, to be fair, with me, but I needed to get rid of him. I had so many players that were just better at the time and I could have kept him, but I decided to take a £20 million hit because of, I'd made profit on quite a few other players, so it didn't really matter too much. And he was, I suppose, looking at him now, he's 30 years old, he was getting to that point where if I don't sell him, I won't get any money for him, so I decided to sell him for £5 million. Sold Martin Samuelsson as well, he didn't quite develop how I wanted him to. And Ogbonna to Hull for £1 million, he was getting on a bit as well. And I was playing the young centre-back partnership with Burke and Oxford at this point. Odegaard came in for £40 million. He was my big money sign-in this season from Real Madrid. Still a wonder kid at this stage, still only 20 years old. But look at him, he's insane. He is so good, and he wasn't really being played by Real Madrid. So I took the risk and signed him for £40 million, and it did pay off. For the first season, we didn't get a huge number of goals and assists, good average rating. But Lanzini is so good on this save as well. It was sort of hard to... I had to rotate them, I guess, at the time. I also signed Ricardo Horta. You'll notice I sold him for £5 million straight away. He just didn't work out. I don't know why I signed him. It was a mistake signing him, and then I made a loss, £10 million loss. It just didn't work out for him in England. He didn't like it. Dan Dickinson is the player that set up that first Belotti goal in the Champions League final. Really good prospect. 2 goals in 4 games for USA already at the age of 19. Signed him for £7.5 million, then I actually loaned him out. But then he came back, scored 6 goals and 5 assists in not that many games. So he's a good player. He's a good backup striker at this point for me. Also signed Wanyama, a young goalkeeper called Ketchel, and a few other young players, as you can see there as well. May 2020 then, 30th of May 2020. It's the end of the season. The team suddenly shrunk, as you can see here. I decided to just fine-tune the team. I had so many players previously. Way too many players. Lots of young players I'd included in the team as well, though. But you can see, goals-wise, Lacazette, 58 goals this season. 43 for Belotti. They seem to alternate between being top goal scorer or second top goal scorer. But both of them, so good. Really unbelievable players. Belotti was more consistent, I would say, over the few seasons than Lacazette. Lacazette would just go through patches of scoring multiple hat-tricks and then the next season not be as good. Lanzini is still brilliant for me. 12 goals, 16 assists. He's a star, a real star on this game. Hopefully we'll be good on FM17 as well. I'd signed Thomas Lemar this season, as you can see. Odegaard still doing really well. Dan Dickinson scoring a few goals as well. But this is my biggest gripe with this save. German Brazula, who is an incredible right back. Looking at him, he's an Argentinian international. I signed him this season for £8.25 million, which is a bargain. But he's got 10 on crossing. Where is he? 11. He had 10 on crossing until this point in the save. I was trying to improve his crossing. But he got 23 assists this season. More than any other player. I think top assists maybe in the league. 13 assists. 23 assists in all competitions. And they were all from right back. And as you can predict, they were all crosses to the back post and tap-ins. That's why the game is just flawed. It just annoyed me. Even though I could exploit it, it ruined the fun in the game, if I'm honest. And by this point, I was sort of struggling through the seasons and grinding them out. This season in particular, it slowed down, even though I did win the league. But when you've got a fun save, you sort of ignore the flaws. But there are flaws there, you know they're there. And that's not great. Lacazette, most man of the matches. Average rating wise, Brazula top average rating, as it always seems to be. It's usually Bellerin with the top average rating. I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 times, you'll look at like the first season or the second season in the Premier League when you play FM16. Bellerin will be top average rating and up there with the assists as well. It's stupid, but there we go. Byram as well, my backup right back, 12 assists in 21 starts and 8 sub appearances. That is stupid. He's a great player, but still, he's got better crossing, 15 crossing, so that makes more sense, but still, it's too many assists for a right back. Also my left back, left backs aren't as overpowered as right backs, but Jorg, my Brazilian left back, 14 assists. Now this guy, I would highly recommend on FM16, because he is so good, and you can get him for pretty decent money. 7.25 million this season. He was 24, it's 23 straight 24 I guess when I signed him. 2 goals in 13 games for Brazil. Look at him, he is insanely good. What a player. He's probably the best left back on the game. Now this is the formation, it looks weird, but this is the formation that worked well for me. And it's the main reason why I got rid of Balassi. I remember now, I got rid of Balassi because I wasn't playing wingers and he just didn't fit into my system. So I started playing this last season, I guess. That's why I sold Balassi for as little money. Well, I tried to get as much money as possible for him, but it was only 5 million because it had just been sitting there all season bored. But I switched to this formation and it worked wonders. 4-2-2-2, essentially. Jorg and Brasula attacking. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I got so many assists, but I was exploiting the match engine and I feel bad for it. But I essentially was. I was finding flaws in the system. I knew that there was flaws with the fullbacks getting so many assists, getting to the byline, crossing it to the back post. My striker, Lacazette or Belotti, would always stick it in the back of the net, especially this season with Lacazette, 58 goals. But Brasula, down the wing, crosses it in, Lacazette, goal. It was easy. But that's why they need to try and sort that problem out, because you don't even have to try hard to exploit that, to be honest. Ødegaard and Lanzini behind, insane. Payet by this point getting on a bit, not playing as many games as you can see there, but when he did play, he scored or got an assist. Still a very good player, but he's 33, his physicals are going down, so I was focusing on Lanzini and Ødegaard as my main players behind. Baker and Allen, who I signed this year, really good player who apparently can't really play a ball-winning midfielder role, but he has the perfect attributes to do it, so I stuck him there anyway. I signed him for £28 million, a lot of money from Napoli for a 28, 29-year-old, but he just fitted into my system perfectly and did a fantastic job there alongside Lewis Baker. Burke and Oxford at the back as well. Young partnership, solid, really solid. Burke's only 23 now. Oxford is 21, but they're both... Oxford's got 1 England cap, Burke's got 6 England caps. They're good centre-backs. Compared to the rest of the team, their ability isn't as good, but it didn't really matter so much because I scored so many goals and my defence was still pretty solid. We'll look at the league in a minute. I'm just getting distracted by all these signings. It's just wonderful this season. Really good season. We spent £160 million. I mean, we'd won the Champions League 2 years in a row, so I had money to spend. I sold Kevin Strootman. He didn't work out for me. I bought him. Where did I buy him? I must have bought him last season. And then I sold him for 26.5 million to Man City. Don't know why they spent so much on him, because he was just so injury prone. It was ridiculous. But they still wanted him, despite his age. There we go. So sold Albrighton for 6 million, and Spinner to Derby, Gulavukul, our defensive midfielder, we made a profit on him. Trippier to Napoli, Albrighton to Aston Villa, and Mangala to Derby. So some of these players I signed and then sold very quickly because it just didn't quite work out for them. I was quite harsh with my transfer policy. If it didn't work out, I just sold them. I had so much money to spend by this point. Lamar was my big signing this year. Really good player. Also sends Scuffet, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The young Italian goalkeeper who is really good. Allen, like I said, Timothy Fosu-Mensah, lots of money, but I wanted a ball playing defender, because I played ball playing defender with Oxford. He was basically the backup or the equivalent for him. Mainly off the bench this season. He's a versatile player as well, though. He can play defensive midfield and central midfield. He had a decent first season with me. Also signed that right back from Argentina, and Jorg. Marcos Paulo was a backup young right back who I then sent out on loan straight away. One for the future, as was basically all of these other players that came in. I just found so many regens and tried to give them a chance in the youth teams or send them out on loan, as you can see here with all these loans. Crazy numbers. But I've got some relatively big youth teams with lots of potential in there. And that's what I was focusing on. But anyway, league-wise, you can see we ran away with the league. 95 points. We only lost 1 game all season in the league. Arsenal was second. Palace, Cardiff, Villa relegated. Lacazette, top league goal scorer, 36 goals in the league. Belotti third with 27. Lacazette's average rating was off the charts as well. Brasula and Jorg on there for assists. Just had a cracking season. Plus 67 goal difference. We scored 99 goals, so close to 100. This is the fixtures list, and we won the Super Cup this year, 5-3, great game. Enner Valencia, of course, scored 2 goals against us, but Lacazette got 4 goals in that first game of the season. Actually, it wasn't the first game of the season. We lost the Community Shield and drew 1-1 against Hull. Anyway, that's when we came to life. Had some big wins in there. Capital One Cup, we got through. Champions League, we lost against Man United. They got revenge against us, and it was quite tight in the end getting through that group. Yeah, we only just scraped through on goal difference head-to-heads above Basel. Real Madrid did win the group, but we scraped through our group, and you'll see that it was another successful season in the Champions League. Capital One Cup-wise, We can manage to get through the quarter-final. We beat Cruz Azul in the World Championship final. Belotti and Lanzini were the goals. Capital One Cup semi-final. Thrashed Spurs 5-0 in the first leg. 5 different goal scorers. Drew 1-1 in the away leg. And then we won the final against Man City 1-0. An own goal helping us over the line there. We beat PSG in the Champions League first knockout round. Oxford, Belotti. And then Belotti with 2 goals and Lewis Baker helping us through that. Beat Atletico Madrid in the Champions League quarter-final stage. Lacazette with 2 goals. We lost the away leg, but went through on away goals thanks to a Fosu Mensah goal. And as you can see, it's ridiculous. We beat Real Madrid in the semi-final, 2-1 on aggregate. We beat Newcastle 3-0 in the FA Cup final. Belotti with 2 goals and Odegaard with a goal. And we beat Juventus 2-1 in the Champions League final. We won everything this season, apart from the Community Shield. What an insane season. I just can't believe how we managed it. Looking back, Andre Silva opened scoring, Lanzini with the 18th minute goal to equalise. You see Brazula got sent off in the 77th minute, but this is the Lanzini equaliser. Got it in 3D now. Smashed home from a Jorg cross. But in the 91st minute, look at this. This is insane. Fosu Mensah just blasted one home from outside of the box, corner crossed into him, takes a touch, rounds the player, bang. And he wins us the Champions League final. I mean, shots-wise, they had a bit more possession. It wasn't the best game in the world, but that was the quintuple, whatever you want to call it, I guess. We won the Super Cup, we won the World Club Championship, we won the League, the Capital One Cup, the FA Cup. Oh, it's the sextuple, is that right? Something like that, something involving sex. And there was no topping that. And that's why I got to the 27th of February 2021. We're back to where we started at the start of the video. And we're first in the league, we're running away with it. We've got through our Champions League group, we won the World Club Championship 6-0 in the final against Los Angeles. 6 different goal scorers as well, I mean that's impressive. We've only lost 2 games all season. One against Leeds in the Capital One Cup third round, so we're not going to win every competition again this season. And we lost against Marseille in the Champions League group stage. I suppose I just got to this point and thought, what's the point? I've won everything. I've got some of the best players in the world. I signed this guy Bandera. He just appeared on the game, really old as a regen. I think it's because I loaded the Brazilian league and it just spat out some regens. And I got this guy for cheap, £9 million, and one of the best centre-backs around. And it was too easy, I guess. And I thought, what's the point? I signed Kleber as well, another ridiculous regen that just was spat out of the game from Brazil. I'd signed lots of young players for the future. Heiber Henrique. There's loads of players due to come into the team in the future as well. And I mean, that's the motivation to carry on. Try and create a team of regens, I guess, and just win everything. But when you've won everything by the end of the 5th season, I just think, what do I do next? So I suppose I got to this point and got a bit bored. As you can see, Belotti running away with it again. 38 goals this season in 38 starts and 1 sub appearance. 30 goals for Lacazette. Assist-wise, Lacazette and Belotti at the top as well. My tactic is just ridiculous. That's why it's my best save on FM16, because I actually enjoyed it for a long time, and I did so well, and there we go. But let's just look at Belotti. You can see, I showed you at the start, he looked alright, didn't he? Certain things have gone up. Finishing, composure, off the ball, all 16. 16 pace, acceleration, 15. All his physicals are very impressive. I mean, all his technicals are good as well, and mentals, where you need them for a striker. He's only got 2 goals in 12 games for Italy. They don't seem to rate him for whatever reason, but every season just scores goals. 14 goals in that first season in 14 starts, 29 goals in that second season, 38 goals in the third season, 43 goals in all competitions last season, and then this season 38 goals already by February 2021. So he's consistent. He just scores goals every year. His average rating, he gets assists. Lacazette, on the other hand, not been here as long, but 20 goals in that first season in all competitions in 21 games. 22 goals in the second season. Now, this season wasn't as successful, which is why I say he's not quite as consistent as Belotti. The following season, 58 goals, and then this season 30, so he's behind Belotti this season. So he's not as consistent as Belotti, which is why I prefer Belotti. But they're both ridiculous. As you can see, Jorg, my left back, high average rating. Byram up there as well, as is Brazula, both of them. Although Byram's been my main man this season because Brazula was injured for a long time. But look, Byram, 11 assists once again. It's just overpowered right backs. I started to pay a lot of money at this point as well. I had to keep hold of these players. I sort of had a philosophy, an idea, although I would just pay no more than 100k a week. But I had to start playing the players big money. York 230k, Odegaard 195, Lacazette 175, Lamar, Lanzini, Belotti. He's only on 100, which is a lot, but compared to the rest of the team, it's below some of the superstars. But this team is just, it's a dream team. It's insane. Odegaard and Kleber and Lanzini as well as an option, and Lamar as an option behind the strikers as well. We've still got Dan Dickinson, a young American, 7 goals in 10 games for USA now. I've still got Payet at the age of 30. Yeah, he's still only 33. I suppose he's going to be 34 in May. Decided to drop Reece Burke at this point and go with Bandera and Oxford as my main centre-back partnership. Allen's still there. Lewis Baker's still there in the middle, club captain. Why does it still say Mark Noble's captain? Oh, maybe Mark... Oh, I've still got Mark Noble. He's still club captain. Lewis Baker is vice captain. There's me as manager, doing really, really well. All my attributes have gone up. Look at all the things I've won. It's crazy. I suppose when you know a club, you know how to exploit a game. The game can be easy, which is why I'm going to be challenging myself on FM17 much, much more. I've got some plans already in my head and on paper for FM17. If you're looking forward to that content, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and keep your eye out for FM17 content. Please smash the like button if you've enjoyed today's video. I'll leave it there. If you've got any questions, let me know. If you want to talk about your best save on FM16, you're welcome to in the comment section below as well. But this was my best save on FM16. Until next time, guys, enjoy Football Manager. I'll see you very soon.